following recording is a production of Kicking Out at 2 in conjunction with the WrestleMania Pro Wrestling Podcast Network and is intended for private use only. For more information, head on over to facebook.com/Kicking Out at 2 or our Twitter handle @KickingOut2, along with searching WrestleMania with a W on any and all podcast platforms available to listen to archive shows such as this and all the great content of the WrestleMania Pro Wrestling Podcast Network. Evergreen content at your fingertips anytime at your listening pleasure. And with that being said, we thank you for listening and hope you enjoy the show.
We're back on the WrestleMania season kick here on Kicking Out at 2. I'm Dave Rosenbluth. This is Dennis J. Levy, and we present to you Hidden Gem-A-Mania, our top 5 hidden gems in WrestleMania history. Matches that don't get the love they deserve, and we're going to be giving it to them. We're going to be giving them their flowers on this episode. Dennis, first of all, how the hell are you?
Doing fucking glorious. How
you doing, brother? I'm doing good. I'm excited for this one. I'm actually excited to hear what some of your hidden gems are, matches that you think don't get talked about enough. So let me ask you a question before we get into our countdown. What exactly would you define as a hidden gem when it comes to this subject?
All right, so
what's your criteria for a hidden gem?
All right, it has to be an entertaining match.
It
can't be just something that people don't talk about.
Okay.
So it has to be something that the masses don't talk about.
Yep.
And it has to be very entertaining.
Okay.
If it's both of those, then it's a hidden gem.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right. That's kind of where my criteria is at. If I'm entertained by it and people don't talk about it enough, then I think it's a hidden gem. I mean, it's a very subjective kind of subject, but nonetheless, it's here. It's top 5 hidden gems, WrestleMania edition. Before we do all of that, you can head over to the archives over at Podbean by searching Retromania with a W. You can find this show and all the great content over there at the Retromania Pro Wrestling Podcast Network, as well as Apple Play Podcasts. You can find us Kicking Out at 2, as well as Retromania over there as well. Check us all out. We have a lot of fun over there. All the archive shows are there. WrestleMania content up the wazoo. I know I'm sounding real old with my age when I say wazoo. Yeah, so check us out. Facebook as well, facebook.com/Kicking Out at 2. By the way, on our Facebook page, go vote in the polls. Okay, go vote in the polls to determine the bracketology, WrestleMania bracketology, if you will. 64 of drawn at random. So you would have thought that you picked these matches out. I'll be honest with you. Okay,
check it out.
Yeah, so go check it out. Go vote in the polls. Okay, go vote in the polls to determine who wins WrestleMania bracketology. You can find it over on Facebook. We're in the second round currently. Or we're just about to finish the second round. I'm not sure. Yeah, we're just about to finish the second round. So go vote in the polls and check it out. You won't regret it. That's for sure. You'll be looking at some of these matchups. You'll be like, really? This is a higher seed than this one? Well, we picked it out of random. Okay, we didn't build the brackets. We actually picked them out at random. So the only thing we chose were the number 1 seeds of each bracket. So yeah, have fun with it, and we'd like to know what you would think deserves to win the WrestleMania bracketology, to crown the GOAT, the greatest of all time WrestleMania match in WrestleMania history. And there's a lot of big names that were left off this list. Hogan and Warrior was left off. Hogan and Rock was left off. What else was the very first WrestleMania main event was left off. Savage and Steamboat was left off. So there's a lot of bangers in WrestleMania history. The ladder match with Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon, WrestleMania 10, that was left off the tournament. So, yeah, have fun with it. Go check it out over on our Facebook page. All right. Let's get into this, Dennis. Top 5.
All right.
So you go first.
All right. So one of my favorite podcasts we ever did was during our favorite opening matches of all time
of WrestleMania history.
That WrestleManias, yeah. But so I'm going to start off with the Barbarian and Haku versus the Rockers. That match kicks ass.
Yeah.
And no one ever talks about that fucking awesome match.
That is a great match. Actually, you know, it's funny you mentioned that. because that was one of the matches that was pulled out at random for our WrestleMania bracketology, and Justin actually brought that up and said, "Didn't you and Dennis do a WrestleMania openers?" And we did, and that was one of the matches that made both of our lists.
Yeah, I just blew my head right off, man.
And it was a great contrast of styles. Like you had the power, brute force of Haku and the Barbarian representing the Heenan family, and then you had the high flying Daredevil, Arsenal from the Rockers. It was just a good mix of teams.
And just that fucking double clothesline. It was so good.
Oh, from Barbarian?
The Barbarian hitting the clothesline was like the exact moment hitting each other, and they do the flips and they land together. It was just perfection.
You know what? That almost made my list. That was on my honorable mentions.
That's
okay?
incredible, man.
And while we're on and I like that match. It's a fun match. There wasn't a whole lot of story behind it in terms of how they got there, but they just.
This is what my whole list is going to be about. It's going to be. I'm not spoiling any like my list, but those things I'm spoiling is every one on my list is I have zero expectations going into.
Yep. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I like that. Before I even get to my list, I'll give you some honorable two matches that made my honorable mentions list. The first one that almost made my list was from WrestleMania 9, the Steiners and the Head Shrinkers, in a car crash of a match. Awesome match. Probably the best wrestling match on the show. I mean, you could dare say that Tatanka Shawn Michaels match was pretty good, but and then another match that almost made my list that low-key doesn't get enough love is from a more recent WrestleMania, Becky Lynch and Bianca from WrestleMania 38, when Bianca defeated Becky to win the Women's Championship.
You know why? It's because the year before it was Sasha, right? What a great touching match that was! That was the
the Sasha
can't give the guard per se.
The Sasha Bianca match.
Yeah,
it wasn't a bad match. I think it was overhyped. Because they had the girls close out that night, and they made a big deal about it being two African American females that were closing WrestleMania out. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I have no issue with that, but I think that kind of trumps what actually. To me, it wasn't about race. And they made it about race.
I never thought of that about. I'm not joking. I never thought of that. But
yeah,
I just never did.
I don't think it's a bad match. Yeah. I think it's a good match, and I'm glad that they got that.
It was a change of the guard. That's what I thought.
Yeah, that's what I kind of took from it too. But when on commentary they kept bringing up, it's like two black females in the main event of WrestleMania, never been done before, and like they were just really driving home that point. And I was just like, yeah, that's great, and I don't have an issue with that. And maybe this sounds insensitive as a white male saying this, but to me, it wasn't about race.
And 10,000%.
And they made it about that, and I don't think that was necessary. But it's still a cool moment. It's still a cool moment. Yeah. So those are but the Becky Bianca match from the year following at WrestleMania 38. The build-up was good with Bianca chasing Becky. What I didn't like about the build-up is that they had Bianca cut Becky's hair. You remember that?
No. Oh, yeah, I do remember that.
And so Becky got a haircut. Her hair looked pretty cool,
Yeah.
But I thought the psychology was off when it came to that. They had Bianca cut Becky's hair right before WrestleMania. So I kind of figured, well, maybe they're going to have Becky cut Bianca's gigantic 4-foot-long ponytail. Maybe they should have had Becky cut Bianca's hair first. And then Bianca wins and cuts Becky's hair at the end. That's, I think, would have been a more appropriate setup. But the match was fantastic, nonetheless. So those are the two that didn't make my list. However, there's one match that makes my list that comes in at number 5. And I put this match number 1 because it's a fantastic match. And number 2, I did it to piss you off.
Why is that?
Okay. It's from WrestleMania 39. Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's Championship from WrestleMania Saturday is my number 5.
But people say that's the greatest women's match of all time. That's my
I think it's the greatest women's WrestleMania match of all time.
And that's my problem. That's why.
What do you think is better for a women's WrestleMania match than that match?
It's definitely up there. Go to the head. I still go with Trish Stratus versus
Mickey James.
No, it's just the psychology,
the story.
The story. It was just perfection. I think that's the creme de creme.
I think
female women WrestleMania man, but right below it is that match for sure.
I think they killed it. Okay, I'm not taking anything away from Trish and Mickey. Okay, but I think what people remember about, and I'm going to argue this with you because I like the match, but I think what people remember about that match was the couple of spots when Mickey put her hand on Trish's crotch and then she licked her hand.
I love that.
Okay. It created a moment, and that's what people talk about. People don't talk about the bell-to-bell action from that match, okay? People just talk about the crazy shit that Mickey James did to really enhance that psycho character that she was portraying at the time.
Yeah.
But I think that takes away from the bell-to-bell action of the match. But this match, Rhea and Charlotte, I dare say the best women's wrestling match, maybe of all time.
It's up there for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
I still employ
the physical.
Look up like Bull Nakano versus like you get the gist. So you know.
Yeah, no, I don't take away other women's matches that are in that conversation like a Bull Nakano, but that match with Charlotte and Rhea, and I'm gonna say this because I know it's gonna piss you off, but that's the reason why Charlotte was the better and the bigger star than your girl Sasha Banks.
So I would never disagree that Sasha.
What's the matter with you? You used to die on the hill that Sasha was a bigger deal than Charlotte.
Oh yeah, of course. We could, for example, that Sasha at the time. Here's the thing. Now it's been 5 years later or whatever the fuck. That look at Sasha now. And look at Charlotte.
She's not a big star.
You got to be objective, 10,000%.
She's not a big star.
At that time, 10,000% Sasha was the bigger star. Because, let me tell you why.
Okay.
That every time you talked about a toilet flare, that match, it was about her.
For those of you listening, that's what he calls Charlotte Flair. Toilet flare.
That is her always in the championship, right? Sasha didn't have to be in the championship, the conversation for her to be relevant. She wasn't. She didn't have to be. She could do tag team stuff and people were more interested. She could be in a Nia Jax rivalry and people are interested. People are only interested in fucking Charlotte Flair is when she's involved with the title. I'm sorry.
Okay, there's an argument to be made there. I don't begrudge you for feeling that way. I think, and you might not realize this because you don't watch as much anymore of the current stuff, but they seem to be moving her out of that main event title picture, and people are caring more about her with this tag team with Alexa Bliss, and how they've shown a more sensitive and softer side of Charlotte by having her team with Alexa, and the story and the dynamics of their pairing being somewhat of a frenemies type of tag team where one tries to one up the other, but their common goal is just to win together, which it seems like they're building towards the two of them eventually splitting up at some point, and one of them's going to turn on the other, and most expect Charlotte to do it, but I think Alexa's going to be the one to do it on Charlotte.
That would make the most sense because she got that spooky.
But she's kind of she's kind of even like scaled that like darker character back a little bit in more recent in the last year since she's been teaming with Charlotte. But the match with Rhea, okay, I will give them this. I will give fans that criticize this match, okay, the story going into it was not very good. Charlotte. Yeah, did Rhea win the Rumble or Charlotte won the Rumble? Oh, Rhea won the Rumble, and she chose Charlotte. And they had an easy path to get to WrestleMania by having Rhea choose Charlotte because she wanted to avenge her loss to Charlotte during that COVID WrestleMania, which was a great match.
Yeah, that was a great match, but
and
win the NXT
And they didn't explore that, which I thought would have been an easy route and something that was believable. They didn't really have much of a story going into the match other than Rhea won the Rumble and she chose Charlotte. That was the end of it. They had a couple of back and forth promos and maybe like some physical interaction with each other, but it wasn't as good as they could have made it, in my opinion. Okay? But when the fucking bell rang at that WrestleMania, okay, they stole the show that night.
Yeah, they were good.
In my opinion, they stole the show. People argued, even Ric Flair, of course, it's because it's his daughter, argued that the Royal Rumble winner, with WrestleMania now being 2 nights and there being 2 Royal Rumble winners, a male and a female, that Rhea should have won. Rhea and Charlotte should have closed WrestleMania Saturday as the main event.
So that's my whole problem.
But the story going into it didn't warrant closing out the main event that night. Sammy and Kevin Owens against the Usos for the tag team titles warranted being the main event of that WrestleMania. Okay? And I don't have a problem with that. But those 2 girls, the match bell to bell, back and forth, just the physicality and the kickouts and the near falls and the story that they told in that match. If they advertised that match as the main event and they put out that match, it would have delivered, and I would have been all right. I would have been fine with, all right, you didn't have much of a build-up, but you delivered a hell of a main event. Yeah. So that to me, and I'm surprised in more recent years, in the last couple of years, when they bring up Rhea Ripley's resume on television. She's the most popular female star.
She could die today. She's the most popular female star
in WWE currently. Okay, and she'll get to that. I think she will get to that top tier elite level with when it comes to female wrestlers in terms of star power, like a Trish Stratus or even like a Lita. I think she will be in that conversation. I think she's got a little ways to go, but she's getting there. Okay, she is easily the last 5 years. She's the most popular star of this era of female wrestlers in WWE. Okay, I would dare say even more popular than the original 4 horsewomen. Okay, more popular than Charlotte, more popular than Becky Lynch when she was marching towards the title. Yeah. Okay, I think she was. I think she's far and away. She's their Stone Cold Steve Austin, the female version. The popularity is unbelievable. She hits the demographic with the young girls, the males, the young males like her. They think she, this goth look is hot. She checks off all the boxes for them, in my opinion, and I'm surprised that match with Charlotte doesn't get brought up enough when they talk on television, when they talk about her resume and all the things that she's done, especially during WrestleMania season. So, to me, match of the night at that WrestleMania doesn't get talked about enough. In my opinion, I'd even dare say that's probably Charlotte's best match. That's right up there with the match she had with Natalya in NXT. That's right up there even with the match when she beat Sasha and Becky at that WrestleMania a couple of years prior. Yeah. I think that's Charlotte's best match, in my opinion.
That's up there.
That's her best match, and definitely match of the night for that WrestleMania Saturday. So that comes in at number 5 for me. Who you got for number 4?
All right, for number 4, I got the Funks versus Tito Santana versus British Bull.
Oh my God!
The Junkyard Dog.
Oh my!
I fucking love that match.
God, really?
That was the only match in WrestleMania 2 that not only was a good wrestling match, but it was a match that actually felt real. All the other ones were gimmicky and it just felt like fake wrestling. I can't believe you don't like the Funks versus Tito Santana.
I don't like that WrestleMania in general.
That match ruled. I love that match. That was the only thing out of that fucking bullshit WrestleMania I thought it was any good, and it was fucking fantastic. Yeah. Yeah,
that's okay. I didn't see that one coming. Okay, so Tito and Junkyard against the Funk Brothers. Now, if you remember, you had Terry Funk, but then you had his brother Haas Funk, who was actually Dory Funk.
Yeah.
Okay. Managed by Jimmy Hart. But yeah, I didn't see that one coming. Okay.
I fucking love that match.
Yeah? All right. I didn't, you know what? I just watched that WrestleMania recently, and
again, low expectations. Here I am, probably. I only saw WrestleMania 2 twice in my whole entire life. One was during the podcast, and one I was a youngster.
Yeah.
Then even as a youngster, I go, this is the worst fucking pay-per-view I think I've ever watched in my life. And as an adult, I felt the same way. Anyway, but that was the only
Is it still the worst WrestleMania of all time, in your opinion? Because that's a question I have to. Because recently on the podcast, Justin, we were talking about
9 and 11 are really bad too.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Yeah. So I got a question for you. So we did that WrestleMania 2 worst recap ever. Yeah. Okay, it's in the archives. You can go check it out. It is fucking terrible.
Yeah, I think it was a fun podcast.
It was a fun podcast, yeah. but the show was terrible to watch. Okay,
yep.
Now WrestleMania 9 has been discussed as one of the worst WrestleManias of all time. WrestleMania 11 has been discussed as one of the worst WrestleManias of all time. WrestleMania 2 has been discussed as one of the worst WrestleManias of all time.
I got to throw in 4. That'd be my much more.
Okay, so let me ask you. So let me ask you this.
Yep.
Because we were drawing the matches out at random, and one of the matches that came up that made it didn't advance. It lost in the first round, but one of the matches that came up was from WrestleMania 37 in Tampa with Roman, Edge, and Daniel Bryan.
Oh, I love that match.
But that WrestleMania, what would you rank that WrestleMania? That's not one of the worst. Justin wanted to know because Justin has boldly claimed that if that WrestleMania never existed, you wouldn't be missing anything. If they skipped WrestleMania for a year, you wouldn't miss anything because that WrestleMania was not that good. It was bad. It was very bad.
What else was in that show?
Rewind. Well, it was a two night WrestleMania. Okay. So Sasha and Bianca was the night one main event. We just talked about that. Yeah. Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre for the WWE title.
I tell you what, I like that match, and they had the balls. Everyone and their mother, including myself, thought Drew was going to win that match.
Drew was going to win the belt back.
But it made more sense for Bobby. And when Bobby won, I go, "Thank you, WWE. That was good booking and a good decision." I like that match for the record.
That 2-night show also had Shane McMahon and Braun Strowman in a cage.
Woof woof, sucked.
There was like a women's gauntlet match for like the tag team titles.
Don't remember. I do remember that. Yeah, that sucked.
Apollo Crews and Big E in a Nigerian drum match.
Oh God.
For the Intercontinental title.
Yeah, I remember that too.
What else took place on that WrestleMania that was pretty bad? Oh God! Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt. You texted me after the finish, and you were like, "I'm never watching this fucking shit again."
So, but I love Bray, so I was protective. That fucking bugs in the ring, whatever. Come on.
No, that was a couple of years prior. This was when Orton beat the Fiend, and he came out of the
that's even worse.
Alexa turned on him.
I blocked that out.
Okay,
yeah.
All right.
And that broke. Okay, here I think little did we know though that he was going through some shit. That's why.
Yeah, there was some personal stuff behind that.
We didn't know about that.
Yeah,
but yeah, that was awful. You know, I still say though that's what's a great WrestleMania? That's WrestleMania. That's WrestleMania 10 compared to 2. Come on.
37?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I'll put 37. Way better than 2. Way better than 2.
Wow. Okay, but you don't think it's one of the worst?
It is.
Does it crack your? Does it find a place on your Mount Rushmore? Because you said 2, 9, 11, and 4 are on your Mount Rushmore.
Those are worse than 37. They just
really.
They just are.
See, I would remove. Me personally, I'd remove 9 off that list.
All right.
Okay, and here's why. And I said this on a prior episode with Justin, and I'll share this with you. WrestleMania 9. All right, we're really going off the rails here, but whatever. This is what we do.
That's what we did.
That's what we do. WrestleMania 9 was perfect for kids. Okay, it was a spectacle. You had.
Oh yeah, Hulk Hogan's eye. That was perfect for kids.
No, just the fact that like. Try to look through the lenses. I was 10 years old when that WrestleMania happened. There was no internet. There was no 5 stars. There was no Meltzer to me. Like my world didn't consist of that. It consisted of what I watched on the television. And at 10 years old, I wanted to see that WrestleMania. I didn't get to see it because my parents wouldn't let me see it. And then when I found out that Hogan won the belt as a surprise, I begged them to get the replay. They said no. So then I had to wait for it to come out on video. It was a spectacle. the Roman Empire theme. You had the two doinks.
I did like the two doinks.
The title switch with Yoko and then to Hogan. There was all kinds of twists and turns. It may not have been. It doesn't age very well, but for that era, it wasn't a. To me, I think it gets too much flack for what it was. Like 10-year-old me, and I bet you there were a lot of 10-year-olds my age that were like, "Oh my God, Hulk Hogan won the belt! Oh my God!" Like, "Oh, Giant Gonzalez took out the Undertaker and he came back to life," or "Oh my God, there were two doinks."
All right, so you said that out loud. Name me one match in WrestleMania 37 that was worse than Giant Gonzalez versus Undertaker.
Oh, that was worse than that?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Come on. Yeah, come on. None was worse. Come on.
You just based off that one match? Or what?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, so you base it... Yeah, but you also...
All right, let's go.
You also base it off the Hogan finish, too.
Right, that's true.
But it's... I get it. It's not for everybody, but for a kid, it's a fun WrestleMania.
All right.
When I watch it now, I'm like... I try to watch it and going back to what I felt when I was that age watching it. You know what I mean? That's what I try to do when I watch some of these older WrestleManias.
I wish I could do that. I don't have that ability. But
like, I try not to look at it through like a 2026 lens. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
I get where you're trying to go, but I cold-heartedly disagree with you.
All right. That's fine. That's fair enough. Yeah. That's fair enough. I can respect that. All right. So number 4 for you, as we get back to our hidden gems of WrestleMania matches.
Yeah, the Funks
versus Tito Santana and the Junkyard Dog. That's I didn't see that one coming. All right. Number 4 for me is from WrestleMania 6. Jake the Snake Roberts challenging the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase for the $1 Million Championship. That was the match that the crowd did the wave during the match. I don't know if you remember that.
Really? Yes. I love that match. Fuck them for that.
Yeah.
I love that match.
The promo before it with Jake, I mean, outstanding. Absolutely
so good.
Outstanding.
People did the wave during that match. Fuck them, seriously. Fuck them.
But I don't think it was because of the quality of the match. I just think, at least in 1990, I think they just wanted to, have some fun during the show.
All right.
Like that's what I took from it.
I hope you're right. I hope it's that.
The match, the build up for that match, pretty much is Jake stole the $1 Million Championship from DiBiase and he put it in the bag with Damien. And DiBiase tried to pay Slick to get the Big Boss Man to retrieve the belt back, but Boss Man didn't want to do it because he didn't want, or Boss Man didn't want to do it for money or whatever. I don't even remember. And then that's how the Boss Man turned babyface. Slick kind of gave him the boot. Boss Man and Akeem started a feud, and then DiBiase and Jake just continued on with their stuff, and DiBiase would then put the championship on the line in the match against Jake. But yeah, a really fun, outstanding match. Crowd super into it. That's one of those matches that, again, it's highly entertaining. It wasn't very long. It was a shorter match. It doesn't get enough love, in my opinion. It really doesn't. And I'm glad that I just watched it recently to do a recap of WrestleMania 6. So, yeah, if you're listening, go out of your way to watch that match.
I totally agree.
Excellent
Fucking
match.
love that match.
All right, give me number 3. What do you got for your number 3?
Number 3, this goes to show you that AJ Styles can wrestle a broomstick. A fantastic match that blew my expectations out of the water was AJ Styles versus Shane McMahon.
God damn.
Awesome match.
I don't know why I don't have... I forgot about that match. I don't know why I have that on my list. I almost want to take one of these matches off my list and put that match on.
I love that match, David. I
like
fucking love that match.
That is an outstanding match.
Yep.
That is absolutely outstanding.
And I would have going in there and I'm going, what the fuck? This is going... why are they doing this to AJ? And I don't know if they tore the house down, but they came pretty close. I really, really appreciate that match. And AJ wasn't doing his flying shit. He was ground wrestling. And it just blew my mind away.
You know what I liked about it? Originally, I thought, like, oh, well, they're going to have to make it some kind of gimmick match.
Exactly.
Because it's Shane McMahon, and he's going to have to jump off of something, you know what I mean? And people joked around that on the internet and on social media when they were when they were building the WrestleMania set that looked like an amusement park, and the tall, structure that looked like a roller coaster. Everyone joked around like, "Oh, Shane McMahon's going to jump off of that onto something." And the fact that they went the opposite direction and Shane actually wrestled a good match with Styles, outstanding. That's match of the night on that card.
I love
that's the match of the night. That's a long WrestleMania, but that match stole it. That was the outstanding. To me, AJ Styles, he just recently retired. His WrestleMania resume, when you look at it on paper, you look at some of the names he's wrestled, and you're like, man, like he's wrestled some big names. He wrestled Jericho. He wrestled Edge. He wrestled Undertaker in that Boneyard match during COVID. Okay, he had a match with who else did he have a match with? LA Knight. Well, I wouldn't even consider LA Knight a big name, but I'm just talking like Hall of Fame talent, like Edge, Jericho, Undertaker. His AJ Styles' best WrestleMania match was the Shane McMahon match.
I have to agree.
Yeah.
Jericho and him were fucking fantastic. If they changed the finish and have AJ go over, I actually probably would pick that match over that. But I just think that was a bad booking decision. But yeah, oh my god, I can't explain how much I love that match.
Yeah, that's wild. That's why I'm honestly, I was going through matches and I was like, what are some and I totally forgot about that match.
Yeah.
I wish I put that on my list now. I'm kind of jealous that I didn't. I wish I put that on my list. All right, so I'll give you my number 3. My number 3 comes from WrestleMania 14, the dumpster match between the New Age Outlaws against Cactus Jack and Terry Funk.
That kind of was a fun match.
I thought that, and Justin and I kind of talked about it on the Bracketology podcast. The story of the Outlaws, and they were the young punks, and they were trying to take out these legends, and they put them in the dumpster and threw the dumpster over the stage. Like, that match had a lot of drama and a lot of heat and intensity going into it. And it was one of the matches that I was looking forward to. I was just starting to become a New Age Outlaws fan. As much as I loved Cactus Jack, I was like, these guys are fucking cool.
I was never told them, but anyway, that's just me.
And it was a unique concept with the dumpster and the story that the dumpster played into the match, and they were trying to take out what they referred to the legends as the trash by putting him in the dumpster. And just it was right up Cactus and Terry Funk's alley with all that hardcore stuff, and it made for a really fun match. That WrestleMania gets looked at because Austin won the title, and Mike Tyson was there, and rightfully so. Like, it was a popular angle, but I think the dumpster match deserves its credit because it was one of the featured matches on that card. It was third to last. It was the main event had Shawn and Austin. You had Undertaker and Kane as the co-main event. And then you had the tag team title match in the dumpster match. Was the third to last match on that card, and it was one of the top stories going into that WrestleMania, and it was a lot of fun. And I don't think people talk about that match enough. For the sheer fact that they managed to get over a dumpster in this storyline. Like, they treated it like a casket match, but like without like the scary spookiness behind the casket match, but more so like the dangers of like wrestling in this dumpster match, like the physical toll that it's going to take on these guys to beat the hell out of each other because it's so personal. To stuff your opponents in the dumpster. Like, it was, again, it's getting its flowers because I was highly entertained by it, and it was like the stamp of approval that the Outlaws were a draw for me, and I was just starting to become a New Age Outlaws fan, but their performance in that match against those two guys, Cactus and Terry Funk, that was like the stamp of approval. Like, bam, like, yep, like these guys are. There's a reason why they put them together, and it worked. And the dumpster match proved it for me. So that comes in at number 3. All right, you give me.
All right, my opinion, my most underrated WrestleMania match of all time.
Is this your number 2, or you just?
my number 4 though. You know what though?
No, you already gave me your 4.
Yeah, I'm 5, right? I lost count.
So you did. Your first match was, Christ, I don't even remember. What was your first match?
Oh, first match, the Rockers, Barbarian.
Yep, and then you had the girls match, right? You had Haas and Terry.
Yeah, Haas and Terry.
Haas and Terry against JYD and Tito.
Oh, you're right. I am on 4. Okay, because 3
No,
was...
you're on. If I just hit 3, you hit 2, right?
Yeah. Then I'm doing 4 now. I'm sorry. I thought...
What the fuck is wrong with you?
I fucked up. But anyway, oh my God, now I'm choking. You know what? This is my number. I'm going out of order. I know, I'm sorry. This is going to be, this is my most underrated, my number 1. But anyway, I'll go Undertaker versus Randy Orton. I
thought about putting that on my list.
I don't think that gets enough. I don't think that nearly gets enough.
So what number is this for you?
I think that is my number 1. But I'll go. I'm sorry, I fucked up. I just love that fucking. I only thought, other than the time he did lose to of course Brock Lesnar, the only time I ever thought he was going to lose the streak was when Randy Orton did that RKO, that chokeslam RKO.
That was
I'm like, it's over.
That was a neat spot. That was a neat spot. I like that. I disagree with you though. I mean, it's your opinion, but you know, I disagree with you that the Orton was the closest to ending that streak, because it really was Shawn Michaels a couple of years later. Shawn, in my opinion,
I never thought for 1 second Shawn was going to win.
Really?
No.
Oh my God,
not
dude.
for 1 second.
Well, then again, they
were great matches.
You just skipped out of order, so I mean, it doesn't surprise me.
No. I'm just saying though that what's the best Undertaker WrestleMania match? Well, of course, it's Shawn Michaels versus the Undertaker Part 1. But I didn't think for 1 second, not 1 second, I ever thought Shawn was going to win that match. I was
but you thought Orton was going to beat Undertaker
when he did that. When he was doing the choke slam
and he converted it into the RKO.
I thought it was over. I really did.
I mean, it's a neat spot.
I really thought it was over.
I liked it, and the match was a fun match. It definitely helped build Orton up, because Orton had that terrible babyface run after Evolution kicked him out, and he won the belt for like a month. And then he just kind of had a hard time getting back on the horse, and then they put him with Undertaker, and he was kind of treated like, you know, a serious, you know, credible threat. And the fact that like they went with like the young versus the old, with Orton being, you know, the legend killer, and you know, to kill the legend of the Undertaker, I thought it was a good story heading into it, and the match was a pretty fun match. Like I said, it almost made my list. I was toying around with the idea of putting that on my list. All right, so let's just recap here.
Yeah.
So you had go through your list of matches that you have knocked off already.
All right, so obviously Rockers that started off the list.
We're against the Haku and Barbarian.
Yep. Then the next one was the Funks. Then the one after that was, of course, AJ
and Shane.
And then lastly, I just mentioned the Undertaker, Orton.
Okay, so you have one more left.
I got one more,
even though it's really not your number 1.
I think legitimately the most underrated WrestleMania match of all time is Orton Undertaker. Yes, I do believe that.
Okay. So then why don't you just make it number 1 then?
I screwed up. I thought that was my number 5, and then my brain just melted, and I'm like, oh my God, what's my other match? And I finally just remembered it. Anyway, I'll tell you later.
That's why you're my wild card, pal. Drive me nuts sometimes, but I love you. All right, number 2 for me. You would think this is much higher on my list, but this match, I said it on the Bracketology podcast, and I'll stand by my statement. This is the match that Hogan should have just ended his career on. Okay? I felt like, yes, the Shawn Michaels match was fun, but this is the match where if he hung it up and said, I'm done, this would have been the perfect way to go out. And it's the match he had with Vince McMahon at WrestleMania 19 in the street fight.
Great match.
A spectacle, okay? It's not a 5-star wrestling classic, okay? Meltzer is not going to give it its high regard. It didn't headline the Tokyo Dome, but it headlined WrestleMania and at Safeco Field in Seattle, and it was the cover art of the poster and the DVD was Hogan and Vince face to face. I mean, it was a spectacle, and it was everything that not everything I expected or hoped to be, but it was like the Piper appearance.
Yeah.
When Piper comes in and he's, Piper was a big part of, Hogan and Vince and that WrestleMania push, into the expansion. Piper was the Joker to Hogan's Batman, and he was the one that really helped elevate Hogan further than, Hogan was doing the work, but you had to have a great villain, and Piper was that great villain.
100%.
Okay? Yeah. So, but just the physicality in the match, Hogan didn't work matches like that, so like him and Vince with the interference, you had the crooked referee, Vince jumping off the ladder, through the leg drop through the table to Hogan, he gets busted open, and then the best part of that whole match was when Hogan's in the ring, and Vince is on the floor, and the cameraman cuts the shot, and you see Vince kind of with his eyes peering over the ring apron, and he like rises up with this like evil look, and there's blood all over his face, and he's got the lead pipe, and he's just ready to just pounce on Hogan. He looked like the devil, like rising up from the ashes. Like it was, to me, it was just a spectacle. That, all right, yes, Hogan and Andre always obviously gets talked about on Hogan's resume. Hogan Rock, okay, Hogan Warrior, all right, I get it. Even people talk about Hogan beating Yokozuna. That like those are the matches that get mostly talked about when it comes to Hogan's WrestleMania resume. But the match that doesn't get enough love, that like I said, if Hogan decided to hang it up after this match, this would have been the match against Vince. Because if you think about it, full circle, Hogan's career and the big boom really started with obviously being in the WWF with Vince McMahon and the promotional machine pushing him, to the moon and helping expand wrestling to being, a global phenomenon. How fitting it would have been if Hogan beats the guy that he worked side by side with to make wrestling what it is today, Vince McMahon. It would have been a good storybook ending if Hulk Hogan ended his career just like that. And I just think that, maybe revisionist history, you look back now and because of the things that Hogan has said and the things that Vince has done or allegedly done, that people don't really have a whole lot of high regard for this match. But this was a spectacle fitting for WrestleMania, and it was perfect. And I that's why it makes my number 2 is on this Hidden Gems WrestleMania top 5. All right, so we're at your number 1.
Which is really my number 2.
Which is now really your number 2 because you're Dennis Levy. You like to change things and mess around with them or whatever. So
I screwed up. I apologize.
So no, that's all right. That's all right. So give me your 1A/2.
The only Ahmed Johnson match I've ever was entertained.
Oh my God!
Was the Legion of Doom,
the Chicago Street
fight?
I
love that match.
Jesus Christ!
I love that match.
That definitely deserves to be your number 2. Oh my! Well, I mean, it makes your countdown, but yeah, if you put, I can see why Orton and Undertaker's your number 1 now. Now that you put that match on the board, oh my God!
Yeah, see, that's exactly that.
Oh my God!
I thought that was an entertaining match.
I agree too. Justin made a good point when he talked about this match on the bracketology episode, was that the promo before the match, Todd Pettingill's like, the Nation of Domination is here and they got everything but the kitchen sink. And then the Road Warriors come out with the goddamn kitchen sink in the match. It was a fun match. It really was. I liked the match. I thought it was fun. And it was fitting for that rivalry. Ahmed had the Nation, he was dealing with them. He brings the Road Warriors as backup. It's in WrestleMania's in Chicago. It's all wearing the shoulder pads with the kitchen sink. A lot of fun. I like that match. That's
the people shit on that match, and I disagree with it.
Okay, well, care to elaborate? No, I want to hear.
No, I'm just saying. Well, most people are like, "Oh, Ahmed Johnson, what the fuck?"
Yeah,
I thought it was the one time he actually came out and performed. That that him doing his fucking wrestling shit, he got exposed. But in that environment, he actually, I thought, was an asset.
Yes. I agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I agree. I like that match, and I'm glad it made your countdown. Definitely doesn't deserve to be number one, but I'm glad it made your countdown. All right, number one for me as the number one hidden gem in WrestleMania history, according to myself, Dave Rosenbluth, comes from WrestleMania 21. Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero.
Oh, if I just say Cody Rhodes, because that was on my anyway.
That was at WrestleMania 27.
Great match, yeah.
Rey and Eddie. Now, both at the time were co-holders of the Tag Team Championship on SmackDown, and this story was all about proving who was the best. Now, this was during that era where Vince liked to have the Tag Team Champions fight each other, and I didn't really care for this. The story going into it. I like the fact that it was all about like who was the best, but like they didn't need to be, in my opinion, they didn't need to be the tag team champions to do that. They could have built a story and a rivalry on just two guys that are friends that want to figure out who's the better of the two in the ring. They didn't need to be the tag champs, but they made them the tag champs. They had an outstanding match. It's not the Halloween Havoc Classic, but it's damn close, in my opinion. There was a spot in that match where Mysterio goes for like a springboard, the springboard the seated senton, and Guerrero catches him, and he snaps him so hard for a power bomb that like I jump out of my seat every time I watch that. It's an awesome match, and it was the start of the rivalry with the two of them that led to the whole custody of Dominic thing at SummerSlam. Even though that storyline was god-awful, it produced a great match. It produced great matches from the two of them. And I'm kind of glad that, unfortunately Eddie passed later that year. I'm kind of glad that like he went out towards the back end of his career before his life ended working with Rey Mysterio and having that kind of WrestleMania match. It's one that doesn't get talked about enough. It was on my WrestleMania openers, Mount Rushmore. So it definitely makes my top 5 Hidden Gem WrestleMania matches. And it's number one for me. So
it's that on the surface when you say Eddie Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio can be underrated, but that particular match, I have to agree with you. No one talks about Mania. Eddie versus so I think that's very fun.
The Halloween Havoc match gets talked about obviously because the classic that was, and then the ladder match with the custody of Dominic because of how silly it was to have custody of a child be put up for grabs in a match. Those are the two Eddie Guerrero Rey Mysterio matches that people talk about when they pair those two together. They don't talk about this WrestleMania match, and I think they should more. So, Dennis, this was a pleasure as always. Now, before we get into this, okay, before we exit this podcast, okay, let me ask you: are there any matches that almost made your list that you weren't quite sure of that you'd like to share?
Cody Rhodes versus Rey Mysterio,
WrestleMania 27.
No, that does not get enough love.
Okay,
and I don't care what you say. You fine, give me Cody Roman. That's the best Cody Rhodes WrestleMania match. And it's not even close in my opinion.
Cody Ray?
Close. Yep, that is better.
That is a bold statement.
Fucking look, Roman Reigns versus Cody were good matches, great matches, but they're overproduced. Those motherfuckers. Fine. You could say overproducing that the finish had to do with the fucking knee brace, whatever. But that was just them clean and just fucking fantastic. It was that not even close in my opinion. The best WrestleMania match is him versus Ray.
Wow, that's a bold statement.
I didn't even say another one too. Talking about Cody, another. It just didn't make a ton of sack of potatoes. Another Cody one is him versus his ex crew there.
Randy Orton and Ted DiBiase. The Legacy.
Yeah, that was a fantastic
triple threat match. Yeah, it was a bad match. That was a fun little match. Yeah. So what do you think of Cody? All right. So now we're on the subject of Cody.
Yeah.
You know, what do you think of Cody and Randy Orton for WrestleMania?
Way better match than
Cody and Drew.
I'm done with Drew and Cody. So
Okay.
This is gonna be great. Two legends. I never personally remember ever. Oh yeah, of course. During anyway.
I don't know what you.
No. I'm just saying. I'm just talking about underrated matches, the triple threat match.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, I don't remember
you just
Orton
said
and Cody, but I'm just saying though. But now it's like a full circle moment. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Now that Cody's in that main event spot. So. I really this match is I'm looking forward to the way more than fucking Drew.
So you want to give a prediction? Who you think's winning? You think Cody's keeping the title? Or you think Randy?
Cody all the way. Yeah,
Really?
100%.
Okay.
He ain't dropping that shit until I don't know.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. All right. Fair enough. While we're on the subject of WrestleMania, you got Roman and Punk for the world title. What do you think about that? And how you think that's going to play out?
I think Punk's going to win the first one. This is a trilogy written all over it.
Okay.
I got Punk.
Win at WrestleMania.
I got Punk at Mania. I got Roman probably at SummerSlam, and then WrestleMania Roman again.
You think they're going to go Punk?
Yeah, Punk wins the first one and then drops the next two. In some sort of way.
So you think Punk Roman run it back at next year's WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia?
It's that big of a match.
Wow. Okay. All right. I like it. Very cool. All right. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I appreciate the time, and I hope we can do this again soon.
Yeah, fucking let's do it.
All right. Let's do it. All right. Before we put this one down for the 3 count, what I'd like for all of you to do is go to our Facebook page, okay? It is WrestleMania Bracketology. That's right. Votes have been coming in. We're heading into the 3rd round this week as the Golden Age bracket, holding down strong in the Golden Age bracket. The number 1 seed, Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant, is going to take on the number 4 seed of Batista and Undertaker from WrestleMania 23. And the other match from the Golden Age bracket, at seed number 3, Sting and Triple H from WrestleMania 31 to take on Kofi Kingston and Daniel Bryan from WrestleMania 35. The New Generation bracket, number 1 seed, still holding strong. Iron Man match, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, WrestleMania 12, is going to take on the Money in the Bank ladder match from WrestleMania 23 at the number 13 seed. Number 11 seed, Bret the Hitman Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin from WrestleMania 13 is going to take on the number 2 seed, Hollywood Hulk Hogan and Vince McMahon, the street fight from WrestleMania 19. Attitude Era bracket. Number 1 seed, holding strong, Austin and Rock, WrestleMania 17 to take on the career-ending match of The Ultimate Warrior and Macho Man Randy Savage from WrestleMania 7 at the number 12 seed. And another Austin Rock match that made the list, coming in at the number 3 seed from WrestleMania 15, they're going to take on the Triangle Ladder match from WrestleMania 2000, Edge and Christian, Dudleys and Hardys at the 10th seed. And our favorites bracket, the last bracket, number 1 seed, Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker from WrestleMania 25, taking on number 12 seed, Triple H and The Undertaker from WrestleMania 27. I was kind of surprised that the votes didn't go the way of Bret Hart and Owen Hart from WrestleMania 10, which paired up against Triple H and The Undertaker. And the last match, it's 2 Cody matches. At the 6th seed, Cody and Roman from WrestleMania 39, a personal favorite of mine, against Cody versus Seth Rollins from WrestleMania 38 at the 7th seed. So what I would like all of you to do is head over to our Facebook page on the post and vote in the pictures. Vote which match you want to see makes it to the Elite 8. We're at the Sweet 16 right now, so let's make it to the Elite 8 with this WrestleMania bracketology. So head on over to Facebook.com/kicking out of 2 and have your voice heard for WrestleMania bracketology. And now, it is officially about that time that we put this one down for the 3 count, and we will see you all next time.